Alrighty, this is going to be a completely different kind of video. I don't really know what shape or form it's going to take. I've never really done anything like this, but the goal is just to give you guys some insight about myself, my experiences, and why I make YouTube videos and why I play so much Smash Brothers. So if I could achieve any of those goals, then I'll call this video a success. I'm not going to worry about how long it's going to be. I'm not going to worry about reaching YouTube's algorithms. I'm not even going to worry about how well it's going to do, because let's be honest, it's probably not going to do very well. That's just how YouTube is. If you're a content creator on this site and you do something different or new from what you usually do, YouTube doesn't really promote it that hard. So the main source of views that this video will be getting is from you guys, the subscribers. On that note, if you do happen to see this video and you are new to the channel, please subscribe. It'll help me out. And if you're not new, I'm trying something new. Tell me what you think about it down in the comments below. Anyhow, so this is going to be a bit of a story time-ish video. Like I said, this is more so for providing insight about my life and my decisions to you guys. And in order to do that, I have to tell a little bit of a story about how Smash Bros saved my life and then how YouTube saved my life. So way back when I was in middle school, and somebody told me, I'm not going to say who, but somebody told me that it didn't matter. No matter what you did, they wouldn't fail you, is what I was told. And so throughout middle school, I goofed around like an idiot and failed almost every class and just had a lot of fun. It wasn't a bad thing, but then come high school, things were different. Things started to matter. Maturity-wise, I wasn't really there yet, and I had lost a couple of friends in between middle school and high school, as you do, which is normal. And so I wasn't really ready to move on from doing my own thing. So in class, I wouldn't ever really pay attention that much. Things weren't great mentally speaking for me. My grades were slipping. With slipping grades comes parental intervention, and at this point I had been told that if I didn't get things together, I was going to be going out of state, and so I'd be no longer with the few friends that I still had. And at the time, it was a decent motivator. I got my stuff together, I started paying attention in class, and I got my grades up, so I didn't have to move out of state. But by the time everything was over, something in me had kind of changed. Mentally speaking, I just didn't really have any drive or want to do anything with anyone, so I became a bit of a loner. And then I ended up meeting someone in one of my math classes who would end up becoming one of my best friends. Sadly, we're no longer best friends, but at the time we were really good friends. And throughout the rest of freshman year, I basically spent a lot of time with him almost every day. Come sophomore year, he kind of had his own group of friends going on and his own stuff, his own responsibilities to deal with, so we didn't really have as much time to hang out as we did before, which isn't his fault or anything. It's just kind of stuff that happens, you know, like life goes on. It can't always be the same way that it is. So again, I ended up kind of alone. Even though now I know it wasn't really his fault, at the time I felt abandoned, I felt isolated, and just completely alone. Little old dumb high school me sitting there thinking I'm the center of the universe. At the time, I became really depressed. I didn't really know it then, but I definitely, looking back on it, know that I was 100% depressed and in a very bad spot mentally. And this is where the good old Smash Brothers comes in to save me and pull me out of the deep dark depths. Around this time, I had learned that there was a couple people who would get together and play Smash Bros. Melee, the best one at the time. Ultimate wasn't even a blink in Sakurai's eye. Smash 4 wasn't even out yet. And so one day on a whim, I decided to go check it out. There were two main groups of people playing Melee. One group was on a projector and one group was on a CRT in the back of the room. I immediately went to the CRT because that's the only way you can play Melee. If you play Melee, you know that to be fact. And I watched from a distance as 3 or 4 people all played there, and they took turns just playing each other in 1v1s. And eventually I plugged my controller in and sat down next to them and started playing with them, and over time I just got to know them better, and eventually that became my go-to spot for lunch and even in the morning times. I'd wake up at like 5 a.m. to ride my longboard or my bike all the way to my high school just so that I could play Smash Brothers Melee with these guys for, I don't know, 45 minutes before school started or whatever. It became a ritual. It became like a routine. It became a reason to get out of bed, to live, a reason to function. Seeing these people just brought me incredible amounts of joy, and playing a game together that we all loved for the small amount of time that we could before class and in between class and during lunch just kept me going at that time. And it's weird to say because you don't always think of a video game as being something that can be so impactful, but a lot of people will tell you that anything, if it brings you together with the right group of people, can change your life. So for the rest of my sophomore year, that was every single day in the morning and at lunch. And then, you know, I became really good friends with the people. They'd come over and I'd go over to their house and we'd play Smash Bros and stuff. I even actually went to multiple tournaments with 2 of them, and I don't really know at what point it stopped, but at some point, you know, like I said, things just kind of have to change, so it can't always stay the way you want it to. And another huge problem was that most of these people were a year ahead of me, so when it came time for graduation and stuff, you know, I was just a junior, but they were completing high school and moving on to different stuff, and it's not like we were good enough to go competitively, and a lot of people don't even support that sort of thing. So it's not exactly like I had adult support in doing that, which I don't hold against anybody. That's not it's not anyone's fault. I understand that as a parent, you're going to want to have a more realistic outlook on things when you're looking at your children. But I think a key element to people who do succeed in those sort of things is being able to push through that. Whether or not they have the support they need, if they can push through and do what they want to do anyways, that's really an admirable quality to have. For over a year and a half, I think, I was provided with a purpose from this video game. It brought me together with people who changed my life. And at the time, it made me feel like, yeah, I mean, I had to get up. I had to move forward. I had to do something because these people were waiting for me, you know? It gave me a place to be. And that might not seem like such a big deal, but at the time, it changed the world for me. I mean, I hadn't had anyone really to play the game with at home. Despite the franchise having been a part of my whole life, at some point, people at home move on to different things, so I hadn't really played the game frequently until I started hanging out with those people. And being able to bond over something mutually, no matter if it's real or fictional or video game or a movie or a book or whatever, it gives you a different look on life. Like when you're alone and isolated, even the things that you like might not seem as important as when you have other people to share them with. And I think that's one of the reasons why the internet culture that we have right now is so booming, is because it's a great feeling to be able to share things that you like with other people. Even if you don't know them, it can be a stepping stone to get to know them, introducing you to people you never knew that you needed in your life and people that can affect your life in various ways. It's a really awesome thing, and at the time I don't think it's an overstatement to say that it definitely saved my life. I can say that it gave me a reason to get out of bed in the morning. It gave me a reason to operate. It gave me a path to follow, I suppose, something to strive for, even if it's just something as simple as, yeah, I want to go to school so I can play this children's fighting game with some of my friends. It just doesn't really matter, you know, it's something. Pretty early on that year, stuff had kind of changed. You know, they all got busy with different things. The senior year of all those people that I was hanging out with, they kind of had other responsibilities to take care of, you know, where they're going to go to college, getting a job, senior project, stuff like that. So they started showing up less frequently. As quick as it had started, it had come to an end, and I no longer had a place to go to during lunch or people to hang out with every single day before school started or anything like that. And things weren't all bad. I did meet my girlfriend that year, and we did start to get to know each other and start to date. But again, she was also a year ahead of me at the time. So as I drifted further and further apart from those people that I used to play Smash Bros with, I got closer to her. At the end of that year, basically everyone that I had spent time with was gone. They had all moved on to college, including my girlfriend. At school, I didn't really have anybody. I didn't have anything to do. And that's kind of where YouTube comes into the picture. I had been watching Game Grumps for a few years. I don't know exactly when they had started. And around that same time, I had started watching Alpharad. I don't exactly remember how I started watching him. I think it was one of my friends in one of my classes had shown me, but it could have been just a suggestion on YouTube. But anyway, that had given me something else to kind of look forward to throughout the days. Game Grumps was a daily thing, so I could remember just always watching them at lunch in one of my classes, kind of alone, but still not really alone. Once you watch a content creator's stuff for so long, you kind of get to know a side of them that, while it isn't maybe 100% them, it's something to you. It's a connection that you've built with what they're putting out there. And I think that's why a lot of people feel such personal bonds with content creators they've been watching for a very long time. In a sense, you do know a side of them. Even if it's not the whole picture, you do know part of who they are. You know what they're putting out there. It can feel very personal when somebody's putting out content that you are consuming regularly. And like I said before, even though it's not really a tangible thing, it can still give you something to strive for. That was the beginnings of me wanting to be a content creator. Other people had brought me daily joy and just put a smile on my face and given me something to do in an otherwise pretty unremarkable spot in my life. Like I didn't have much else going on, didn't really have a ton of friends, didn't have people that I spent time with daily anymore. So it had given me something in it, and that's important. It's impactful. So that was kind of the startings of me wanting to be a content creator. I didn't really figure it out until later. After I graduated high school, I just kind of bounced around from job to job, and then I remember I was in my room talking to my girlfriend about how cool I felt that certain content creators were. She asked me, why don't I do it? Why don't I do it? And everything just kind of clicked right there for me. I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to bring that same joy to other people. I want to give them something to look forward to. I want to give them something to strive for. I want to give them something, anything. If they have nothing else but maybe a laugh or two from one of my videos, if something resonates with them, something I say connects to them, then I've succeeded, even if it's just one person. And a lot of people don't know this because I've deleted all my older videos, but I made videos for, I think, 2 years before I really got any sort of traction with it. I wasn't always consistent with it because it's honestly pretty disappointing to make stuff and know that no one's gonna see it. But I kept on doing it because it was my goal. It was my dream. It was what I wanted to do. It had given me something to strive for, something to reach for, a reason to get out of bed, a reason to do the things that I was trying to do, a reason to improve myself. And in that sense, giving me a purpose, to me, is another form of saving my life. Even though I wasn't depressed at that point, I wasn't going anywhere. I didn't have anything that I was reaching for. But YouTube, this website, this platform, had inspired me to actually try to do something, to help someone else, to help myself. And to that end, I owe a lot to this game franchise called Super Smash Brothers and this website called YouTube. They've brought me unending happiness. They've brought me meaning. And with that, I'd like to say thank you to all of you. You guys have given me new purpose, and I can't express to you guys how grateful I am for that. So thank you for watching me be a complete idiot as I play this video game that I, and I hope a lot of you, have come to really love. I know this was a completely different type of video, and it's thanks to my Patreon supporters that I'm able to do this sort of thing. So thank you to Sneaky Snick, Ryan C, IGW Turtle, Rex345, Merton, Clankier, my mom, Eric Zeta, Apossi, Trill Sailboat, Royal, Mafioso Mickey, Feelin' Stabby, Duck, Senna the Senna, Tallish Sadbino, Mellow Yellow, Big Snack Zach, Suck, Zima, Mesterfest, Black Melon Knight, Nightfall, Eve, Dreer, Beeg, Chungus, and Ro Brono. You guys really are something else. I really appreciate it. Next video should be back to normal Smash sort of content, but let me know what you thought of this kind of content. Maybe I'll do more, maybe I won't, I don't know. Depends on the numbers or if I feel like it. Either way, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys on the flip side.